There is quite a few people now posting educational content. You would think it's geared towards teenagers, but I've somehow found like the over 30 TikTokers and dogs. I follow a lot of dogs on TikTok.
Welcome to The Defense Never Rests with Morgan and Akins, your monthly dose of uncommon sense about all things legal and some that are not.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Defense Never Rests. I am your host, Trisha Baxter. Today we're talking TikTok. If you aren't on this platform, or maybe you've heard some things about the platform and you think it's for teenage girls and only people who love to dance and music, today I think it's going to change your mind. We have on our show today, Michelle Murphy. She's a trademark lawyer. She has her own business and she has used TikTok to get leads, get money, elevate her business. She has almost 5,000 followers on TikTok, and that's been growing exponentially in the past couple months, especially with COVID, she said. And she's just super interesting to talk to. Her story is fascinating, how her legal journey kind of didn't start where she wanted it to, and she took matters into her own hands. And 6 years out, she hangs her own shingle and has not looked back. So make sure you tune into this. I love this episode. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can see our next episode. It pops up on the feed, on your podcast feed. We really appreciate that. Also, give us a like and a rating, a review. Really, really appreciate the support. So without further ado, please welcome our guest. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I love what you're doing on social media. You're probably one of the few lawyers that I've seen on TikTok. And so I reached out to you because I am a little bit of a fangirl when it comes to lawyers that are doing things differently.
Right.
And you couldn't be doing it more differently. So I love that you're on. Let's start. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, your legal journey, wherever you want to start.
Sure. So my name is Michelle Murphy. I'm the owner of Wilson Murphy Law, and my main focus is working with small businesses and entrepreneurs to register their trademarks, draft their contracts, pretty much just protecting their business. So I got started, I passed the bar in 2013. I went to Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale. And after I passed the bar, I always knew like I didn't want to practice law in the traditional sense of like litigation. I just knew that was not ever going to be what I was going to do. So I ended up taking like some, I don't want to say menial, but like just some job just to get some income in, while I found like my dream job. And so then I decided to move to Washington, D.C. because I needed a change of scenery. So moved to Washington, D.C., no job, just moved up there, got a job within a month, which was like a miracle. And I worked at the DOJ for about 4.5 years. And during that time, like by the end of like my tenure, I was just not happy with management. And so I was just like, you know what? Everyone keeps telling me to start a law firm. I'm going to start a law firm. So I decided to hang up my shingle in January of 2019. I was initially going to do debt collection because that's kind of what I was doing before. It was going to be a debtor's side of debtor's defense. And so I didn't really like it, but it was all I knew. And then one night I was dreaming about this really popular YouTuber. She was in legal trouble. I was like, why don't you just hire a lawyer? She's like, I don't think they have lawyers for what I'm doing. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning and started going on Google and seeing if there were lawyers that were practicing like law in the social media area. And there were, and I was kind of doing that. And then I kind of transitioned out of like the social media arena as far as the law side and decided, you know what, I really want to work with small businesses and, trademark registration. I don't have to litigate. It's all transactional. So that's kind of how I landed here. And And I did know that I wanted to like be more on social media, be like a little bit more millennial or whatever, and just being relatable to my audience. I think that lawyers kind of get this bad rap of like, we're all stuffy and we just are scary, and it's just not. We're regular people too.
I have so many things that I want to follow up with what you just said. One, I love your journey and story is kind of a lot what we talk about on our podcast and on my LinkedIn social media presence, which is not really being happy in the job journey and the traditional legal path.
Right.
And a lot of people have exited. You've exited in a way to become more powerful, right? And the fact that you, I think that was 6 years. I'm horrible at math, but you graduated 13, 6 years later, you're opening your own shingle. That's scary. And it's scary to a lot of people. And the fact that you just did it is amazing. Talk about any reservations that you had doing, any fears that you had doing it. What was that like?
Oh, 100%. I was scared out of my mind. I had no idea what I was doing. Taxes, didn't understand.
Still don't understand.
Right. Like, what is all the other stuff? Like, what is actually owning a business even look like? I had no clue. And don't get me started on the marketing side of things. I was just like, what? I thought if I just opened, people would come. I'm a lawyer. Like, people will come to me. Yeah, that's not how that's not how it works. And it took me a while to figure it out. I mean, I will say it was just 1 year of just experimenting and trying to figure everything out. This past year was kind of when everything switched, like the clock.
Like 2020, you mean this year?
Yeah. Yeah, this year. It was just like something just turned on and everything kind of just exploded for me anyway. And it's so funny because I'm going to go back to TikTok. We'll go on to TikTok a little bit, but I started my TikTok in January of 2019 when I opened my law firm. And I was not going to use it for, business reasons. I was just like, I think this is such a fun platform. It's so like the people are hilarious. And I was just like, I want to be on here. And so I started it, but it was kind of like, I was more of a scroller. I didn't really take part in anything. And then once COVID happened, I was like, well, I got time now. And so I just I went all in like for like a month. And that's when I started going viral. Like, I think I've gone viral about 4 or 5 times now. So it's been pretty cool.
Well, and the key for you is that because you started in January of 19 on a young social media platform, right, before really everybody, all of us,
right,
stuffy lawyers did that. So when COVID hit, you were prepared, like you were already in that space. So it's just more of amping up
right,
current activity. I do want to get back. I do want to talk about TikTok. Obviously, that's our episode today. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of that, I do want to finish up some stuff of your story. Are you technically a millennial? Like, I don't even know what.
Yeah, I'm 1988, so 31 this year. So I am technically a millennial.
Okay. Because there's that stereotype that millennials don't want to work hard, whatever.
Right.
And I got to say, starting your own business, you couldn't work harder.
Right. I think at one point, easily working 12 to 14 hours a day, easily. Just trying to figure everything out and doing it all by myself. It's not like I had a team. It was just me.
Did you feel better working 12 to 14 hours a day when you were working for yourself? Does it feel different?
Yes. I felt like I was accomplishing something. At my, just working those 8 hours at a regular job, I was drained. But I could literally, if I didn't have like a husband, I really could have stayed up like all night just working on my business easily. Because it's like you're working towards something for your own future. And I just didn't get that feeling with like my 9-to-5 jobs. It was more so, let me come here, make some money and go home. And yeah.
I love to see women step into an ownership position. I love to see minorities step into an ownership position. There's so much focus now on big law and how there's so few minority equity partners, especially Black female equity partners. And I'm like, why would you do that? Go own your own law firm. That would for me, and I'm biased, I don't own my law firm, but that position of leadership and authority, and you be able to make your decisions 100%
Right.
you. That's where we need to be focusing more women and minority lawyers. It's hard, but the payoff is way
Yeah.
better than working for somebody else and making somebody else money.
Exactly. And it's like, even if you make $10,000 in your own thing, that is your $10,000 that you made, and you don't have to worry about somebody breathing down your neck and just all the things that come with being a lawyer. And then it kind of, now that you're talking about minorities, it kind of is tenfold for minorities, because it's like we can't make mistakes. We're just kind of having to be like perfect, and we don't get as much grace as, non-minorities. So
it's so true. I went to see Michelle Obama speak in Philadelphia when she was doing her book tour.
Oh.
And she was telling us how, when her and Barack Obama exited the White House for the last time, how she just bawled, because she knew for 8 years they had to be perfect. They couldn't have scandals. They couldn't have a lot of what's going on politically now. They couldn't have, it's not a political talk, but they just couldn't. Right. They had to be perfect. And I think that's an interesting thing that you say that, because that translates to minority lawyers, Black lawyers, women lawyers. Maybe white women lawyers have a little bit easier, but it definitely translates. And if you own your own business, you maybe can have a little bit less perfection, at least internally,
right?
Externally,
right.
What tips would you get? Let me ask you this. You said it changed in 2020. Can you put your finger on what it was?
I've been trying and I cannot figure it out. I really can't, because people ask me, because I tell this to even other, trademark attorneys that are trying to get into the, this field, and, they're struggling. And I'm just like, I just tell them, just keep being consistent. I think that's what really got it for me. This is probably the most consistent I've ever been on something that I'm doing on my own. Obviously, you're consistent with school, you're consistent with law school, but literally just doing something for myself, I've never been consistent. I'm like the person, like I've worked out for a month, I didn't lose weight, I'm done. That's enough.
You and me, we're the same person.
But the fact that I continue to go, even when I wanted to quit, because there were many, many, many times that I was just like, I'm done. But I just kept going. And I think that, well, with social media, it's so different. You got to get people to trust you. And I think that I just built an audience that finally started trusting me after like a year. But yeah, I would say consistency more than anything else.
I love that too, because I think that's my experience. I do LinkedIn way more than I do TikTok, but I've been very consistent and I have a process, and it's helped me scale as far as my reach. So I think that's great advice. When you started in January of 19, your own firm, were you already doing trademark law, or did you have to learn it?
I had to learn it.
Okay. That's awesome.
I had to take, I'm still continuing to take courses from, other trademark attorneys that are offering courses. But I did have to take a course. I bought books. I went through the trademark examining guide that they provide on the trademark website, McCarthy, on Westlaw. I just went and then I'm so grateful for the trademark community. The trademark attorney community is so amazing. There is this Facebook group that I'm in, Sonia Lackney. She has a group, and we all kind of congregate. We can ask each other questions without judgment. And, it's just very open. And I've learned a ton from that group. So
that's awesome. So have you always been involved in social media, or is it something that you picked up? Okay. So and for my audio listeners, she's nodding yes and smiling. I've always been involved.
Yes. Yeah. I was one of the first on Facebook, 2016 2006, as soon, like that was our thing, like in 2005. So 2006, I graduated. 2005, we were all waiting for like our acceptance letters from colleges so that we could get our college email address so that we could be on Facebook. Because at that time, you had to be in college to have a Facebook. But yeah, that's from then. And then I was also on MySpace. So yeah.
You're really dating yourself right now.
I would say from like 2002, I was on MySpace, and then it went to Facebook. Then, Instagram started. And so it just kind of every platform that's pretty much open, I would say I was on. There's a few. Twitter, still don't get it. Don't understand it. I tried it. But overall, I try to keep up on them. Even if I'm not consistent on them, I just try to at least be on it.
So before you started your own business, I assume that your social media presence was a personal one.
Yeah.
When, after you started your business, or how soon after you started your business, did you start to use social media for business purposes?
As soon as.
Okay. And
because I would say I knew I wanted Instagram to be like my platform. They say choose like one platform that you really want to, grow your following. And to me, Instagram was the platform that I wanted to grow my following on. Now I'm kind of more so TikTok, but that's that's something else. But I would say that I knew from the beginning, I wanted social media to be like the way that I was getting my clients.
Did you start with Instagram first?
Yep.
What was your general experience with that before you pivoted to TikTok?
Hard. It's still hard. It's a lot of work. The reach isn't as high. Maybe if I had started in 2013 when Instagram was much newer, it wouldn't be as hard. But now it is extremely hard to just get people to stop the scroll and, look at your content. And for me, it's gotten much better because I understand it a little bit more now, being on there for a while, doing my business, doing things for business on there. But it seems like it's always changing too. So,
and I think a lot of law firms are already on Instagram. The picture element, I think, is something it's easy for law firm leaders to understand.
Yes.
We just started one recently. It is super hard. I think in like 6 months we have maybe 300 followers. It's an effort, but I've assigned it to an admin so I don't have to think about it. And there's a woman in our law firm that loves Instagram and she's good at it. So she kind of controls it, but it's super hard. But law firms understand that visually, they get that. They don't have that same mindset of TikTok. Why did you pivot to TikTok?
Honestly, I was like, I don't know. In my heart, I was like, this is the next one. This is the next social media. I want to be on here early. I want to get my spot. I want to get my name. And so I was just like, and it was just, to me, it was funny. It was a creative way to be able to market. And that's what I love about the marketing aspect, is trying to be creative doing it. And there's no other way to be more creative than on TikTok, in my opinion. And yeah, it makes you work harder. But once you like get just seeing your numbers be like going up and up and up, it's fascinating to me. And just like people just saying, I didn't know that, like things that we think are just common knowledge. They're like, what? Really? Like, yeah. And it's so funny because last week because TikTok, some of them can take a very long time to create. But I did one last week. It was just, I would say it took me like 5 minutes, and it's not like on 130,000 views right now, which to me is amazing.
Amazing. Well, let's back up a second for those listeners that maybe don't know TikTok, and I imagine there's a decent amount on my audience that does not. How would you describe TikTok to somebody either who's never seen it or maybe has just scrolled on for 5 minutes and left?
So it's a 15 to 60 second video platform, where it's a lot of transitions. There is quite a few people now posting educational content, a lot of music, a lot of dancing. And I would say you would think it's geared towards teenagers, but I've somehow found like the over 30 TikTokers and dogs. I follow a lot of dogs on TikTok.
I mean, who doesn't love a good dog video?
But yeah, it's just like a 15 to 60 second trying to get your message across in that little bit of time. Like the captions, you get like maybe 100 characters. It's very not a lot of caption space, so you can't like type out everything like we do on Instagram. And you just got to make sure, because you got to make sure you're using the right hashtags, hashtag just like Instagram. But on TikTok, there's a lot of trending hashtags. If you can like kind of hop on the trending hashtags before they get really trending, then your reach is a lot higher.
Well, we're gonna dive into all of that: hashtags, captions, length, process, editing, titles, all that. Before I do, I just want to tell you a quick story and get your reaction to the question. Last night, my husband and I were driving in the car, and he's a teacher. He's going to be 50 in July. I'm 47, so we're the old curmudgeons. And we were driving. We're at the shore right now. We're at the beach. So we were driving home after watching the sunset. So everybody's outside, and there's a bunch of girls. And he goes, look, they're doing the TikTok. I mean, everybody's doing the TikTok. And I'm like, you sound like you're like 80 years old. The TikTok? Like, who talks like that? But it's that mentality of it's only for young 17-year-olds, because that's what he sees. He sees a lot of his students doing these TikTok videos, or
right.
We see people at the shore walk around with signs like, will you do a TikTok video with me? And it's seen as a younger generation. It's not seen as a professional platform. Right. And that's still very much the case. Like LinkedIn, a professional platform. Right. Facebook, companies are using Facebook, companies are using Instagram. What do you say to those people that have that mindset that it cannot be used for business?
I think that any platform can pretty much be used for business. I think you got to get out of your head. I mean, and I think for me, even once I saw that there was doctors and dentists really using that platform, I was like, oh, I'm going to use that platform for my business too. Because I think that doctors, lawyers, dentists, we're all kind of in that professional realm where people don't see us as a person per se. They see us as our occupation. And they were making fun videos, and I was like, okay, if they can do it, then I definitely want to do it, and I know I can do it.
I love that. We, as lawyers, we just got to get over ourselves. And, I think this idea that we are the profession and we have to be above everybody else. Right. I mean, we've kind of always had that. It's slowly starting to change. And I think what you said is relatable, is so important. I mean, people do business with people they like. So, you being relatable and having that trust factor, video is fantastic for that. But social media is really the best way to do that. How do you check out if someone's relatable and trustworthy? Nowadays, if they're on social media, go check them out. Right. So, and I love your mindset too about you wanted to get on first and you wanted to claim your spot. And that's still the case. Like the organic following on TikTok is the largest of any platform right now.
Exactly.
You have almost 5,000 followers. How have you seen it's been over a year, like maybe 15 months. How have you seen your growth in that 15-month period?
March and April, I got 3,000 followers.
That's amazing.
From one video. One video got me 3,000 followers. And I was like, that is insane. And it was like not silly, but it was a basic video. I was just talking about what things can you trademark. And that got me 3,000 followers, which I was like,
I mean,
okay.
I do video on LinkedIn. I've never gotten 3,000 followers. I'm lucky if I get 10 followers from a video. That's crushing it.
Because I think even like all of last year, I was probably at like what 20, 30 followers, because I was really just a scroller, and I would like somebody's video, but I wouldn't put out my own content. And then that one video just kind of skyrocketed my TikTok following.
Well, let's talk about the type of content. What content do you focus on posting about on TikTok?
I focus on mostly business related content, and then niche down even more trademark law or information, I should say. And I post more about the trademark stuff, because that's what gets me the reach. And then a lot of people also like to hear about my story, which I think is I'm like, why do you want to hear about my story?
It's fascinating. You should tell it more. You should totally tell it more.
But yeah, I do post like a little bit of like inspirational content too. And that usually does well on TikTok. Because a lot of people are like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Because I do try to let people know, like, running a business is not easy, but don't give up either, just because maybe you didn't, because I thought I was going to hit 6 figures my first year of business. Yeah, that didn't happen. But here I am. But now, I'm kind of on that track this year, so just got to keep going.
How often do you post?
For TikTok, only 1 to 2 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, I know they're like the TikTok gurus say like 2 to 3 times a day. I'm like, I have client work to do. I can't just do that. And I will say I still post more on Instagram, only because I can batch my content on Instagram. So on Sundays, I just I create 4 posts, schedule them out, and I don't have to worry about them for that week. But with TikTok, it's kind of hard to batch content.
What do you do? What do you do for your scheduling app? What is it? What do you use?
I've used Planoly. I use Preview. I've used a bunch of them. I would say Planoly is probably my favorite. Planoly is my favorite because it'll automatically schedule it or post it on Instagram without me having to go in and do anything.
So is that only an Instagram scheduling app, or can you do your other platforms as well?
I think I want to say you can do Facebook too, but that's it. They don't have it for like Twitter or Pinterest. I'm also on Pinterest too, which I don't think a lot of attorneys are on.
I have to check you out. I didn't know that. So I'll have to check you out on Pinterest. Yeah, we use Hootsuite, which is across, so we can do LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, but there's a lot of little glitches. Like you can't do video. So it's only text. So it's like, but I think that's a really great thing for people that are saying, I'm so busy, I can't possibly do it. Batching all of your content is the way to make it feasible.
Yes.
And if you can use a scheduling app, something like you said, you sit down on Sunday and you plan out your week, you set it and forget it until the following week. That's beautiful. So on TikTok though, you can't do that. You have to post whenever you're going to post.
I mean, you can because you can save your drafts in your TikTok. But the vain side of me wants to change outfits, change my hair. So it looks like I'm doing it on, different days. So that's why I don't batch my content on there, but I'll probably eventually just start, because why not? And if I can start posting 4 times a week, just like I do on Instagram, I'm sure my reach will get much higher. And
so, because I batch mine, I'm in the same outfits. So I batch my videos, but then I try to space out the videos over certain weeks. So it looks a little different, but when you are are all of your TikTok videos set to music? Are they all videos, text? Describe the variety that you use.
So I've done some behind the scenes. I've done some with me and video, me and music. And usually that's my educational content when I have it with music, usually like listicles. And then
What's a listicle?
like, so say, like, I guess we'll just use the what can I trademark. So it was like a business name, a logo, slogans, colors, sounds. So I was just able to write out a list instead of having to like type out paragraphs that people can't read.
Is that the videos where, and if you guys are listening, please go check out what we're talking about because Michelle does awesome videos. Is it the ones where it's music, you're sitting there and you're pointing?
Yeah.
I love those, but it does take some planning. Like let's dive into those kind of for a second. One, you have to pick your music, right?
Yes. Because you want to have trending music. There are trending sounds on TikTok. So the more trending, the more trendy it is at the time, they'll push it out. And this is going to be so funny. So there's this really young, I think she's like 15 or 16 years old. Her name is Charli D'Amelio on TikTok. She has like millions and millions of followers on there. And most people will like whatever song she has on her TikToks, use it because she's pretty much the person that's going to start all the trends on that platform. And so then once you can piggyback off of her and you'll probably be posted on the Discover page. That's basically like how the Explore page is on Instagram.
Well, let's do a play-by-play of how you start your listicles. Okay. Let's start with, I assume concept is first.
Concept is first. And I just I either Google like questions that people are always asking about, trademarks essentially. And then I will kind of make a list out of like, what have I not talked about yet? And then from there, I will choose whatever topic I want to choose from. And I make sure that, so I have to make sure that the timing of the song is, can go with like where I'm pointing to and stuff. And then I also have to write out like each caption, or I guess it would be text on the video.
And you do that before you shoot?
I do that after I shoot. Okay. So you still have to edit. So most of the before is just pointing.
So it's concept, and then you go on, and is the music selection the next?
Music selection's the next. And
do you select music from the TikTok app?
Yes.
Okay. So you go on and you see what's trending, and then you listen to it and figure out timing and if it works with your concept.
Yeah.
Is there ever, besides the trending part, is there ever a selection of the music based on the content? Like,
I did do one video because I like clothes. So I did do one video where I think it was right at COVID, like right when COVID kind of happened. So I had like a bunch of loungewear. And so I did a video where I was just trying on different loungewear outfits. And the song went through like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I was able to pick an outfit for each day of the week with that song. I think that's pretty much the only one that I've done like that. And then there's a lot of like, I guess it would be a voiceover. So someone has created a video and then you can take their audio and create your own video with that audio.
Wow. That sounds complicated.
Usually you can just save it in the save it as a favorite in the TikTok app. I do that a lot too. I go on the trending page and I'm like, oh, I like that song, favorite, so I can use it for later.
So let's go back to the listicle though. So you have your concept, you've gone on TikTok and you've selected your music. What's the filming process like?
So
you have a tripod or what's going on?
Yeah, I honestly use this little thing. It's like a little tripod camera holder. So I do have my tripod set up, and within the TikTok app, you can edit while you're filming. So say that you want a part to stop at like 5 seconds. You can go into the app and you can say, okay, I want this clip to stop at 5 seconds. And so it'll record up to that 5 seconds. And then you can switch outfits or do whatever you're going to do for the next clip. And you can do that as many times as you want as far as like transitioning. I usually don't have to do that because I'm usually just sitting and pointing at something or pointing at the air usually. So I don't have to do as much, but I do set a timer before I get started. And then the music starts playing and I start pointing, and then it cuts off, because you can choose between like 15 and 60 seconds. So you can have a 15-second video or up to 60 seconds, I should say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then after that is when you start putting in the text, and your caption and your hashtags come after that.
So how many run-throughs do you go through? Is it fairly easy filming process?
I would say it's fairly easy. I usually maybe like 2 or 3 run-throughs. It's not too bad.
And if you're talking about 15-second or 60 seconds, the filming is probably not what's going to take up most of the time.
Right, exactly. It's the editing.
How tech savvy do you have to be to edit on TikTok? Is there a big learning curve?
It took me, yeah, it is. Actually, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I would say the first time I was probably sitting there for about 2 to 3 hours trying to figure out all of the different things that I could do, because they have different effects that you can put in there, and like filters, and then trying to figure out the song editing. So it takes a while. I personally bought TikTok courses because I want to learn more about the platform. So why not? So that
I never even thought there was TikTok courses, but of course there's TikTok courses.
Exactly.
Well, did you find them helpful?
I did find them helpful because I wanted to know how to edit outside of that, not edit, but film outside of the app. Because I was trying to do that before, and then I would import it in there, and I was like, but the music doesn't line up. What do I do? And the girl that I bought the course from, she knows how to do that, and now I know how to do it. So.
What was that? If you want to just plug that course for a second, and how long was it? What was the parameters of that course?
So what is it? It's called Talk the Talk. So TALK, the TOK. And her name is Nicole Wong. And it was, I want to say it was maybe 5 to 6 modules. The modules were probably about 15 minutes long. And then she also has she'll go in and update trending hashtags. So which is nice. So I don't have to look for them. She kind of does all that legwork for you.
Well, so I think it's great if you're going to a platform, taking a course like that. I took a LinkedIn course because there's people out there that know it, and they can cut through the spinning of the wheel so much easier. But it doesn't sound time consuming if it's just a couple modules of 15.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Yeah.
What do you know if the other TikTok influencers have editors or people that run it for them? Or
I don't know. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know, because I'm in a Discord group with all the doctors and lawyer professionals. I'll ask and see what they say.
See if anybody, because I know they do it on LinkedIn. I have an admin that helps me on the back end of some stuff, and I wonder if lawyers are going to listen to this and be like, I don't have the time to learn.
Right.
Right. In your group, do you have a lot of lawyers in that group? Do you see a lot of lawyers there? Are they TikToking?
Yeah. Some of them have there's a few attorneys, Attorney Tom and Lawyer Kelly. They have tens of thousands of followers. I think Attorney Tom may have hundreds of thousands of followers. It's pretty incredible.
I've watched, in prep for this, I kind of beefed up my TikTok. I'm following 10 people. You're one of them. And Lawyer Kelly is another one. She's over 200,000. She's family law.
Yeah. And
then there's the guy, The Lawyer. I don't know if you see.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He's got 2 million or something.
There's a few lawyers that have million. They're in the millions. And I'm like, wow.
That'll be you in probably about 2 days. Well, let's finish the process of the video. So once you've done it, then the next step is you use the TikTok editing or the app to edit
Yes.
by adding captions. So when you're pointing to the air, to the timing of the music, you're pointing to a nugget of trademark law or whatever it may be. Once that's done, you upload it, and then you have to worry about a title or a hashtag. Tell me about that process.
So after you put in your captions, you go to the next screen, and that's where you can pick your cover of, like, because you have a feed just like how you have on Instagram. And so you can pick your cover of what you want it to look like, what you want people to see when they come onto your actual profile. You put in the caption, which is maybe like 100 characters, like I said. And then you put in your hashtags. And you have to choose your hashtags kind of before you insert them into the video, because you can't leave out of the video without. You can put it into a draft, or you'll delete it. So you'll want to know what hashtags you're going to use before you upload.
How do you figure out what's trending?
The For You page, or I think they call it something different now, the following page. And then also, honestly, what I do, because if you just start typing in, so hashtag, a lot of mine is like business. So I'll be like hashtag biz and see and it'll auto-populate, what will pop up or what's trending. And if it has like a little fire flame next to it, that means it's trending. And I think they have like a thumbs up too. That means it's trending.
So then you have your title and your hashtags. Do you do anything else before hitting that upload post button?
Oh. Okay. And that's one of the things that kind of sucks. You can't edit after you've put it out there. So I know for me, a lot of times, like sometimes my text will be under the caption. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to change it.
Trial and error. Social media is so much trial and error. Once it's out there, is there, like, every social media platform has its algorithm.
Right.
Once it's out there, is there anything that you can or should be doing to boost it?
I don't think so. I don't think there's really anything you can do. I think timing is, like, the time of day you post probably affects it. But at the same time, I've posted something at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then 4 days later, the video has exploded. And so that's what happened with my last one. I'm just like, why did it take so long for this one to get traction? But then I've also had ones where I'll post it at 7 at night, and by midnight, it's gotten a bunch of likes and followers and views. So honestly, I'm not sure how they do their algorithm, but I just continue posting the things that are getting me those views.
When you said that you've had several videos go viral, can you point to anything that lends to that virality? I don't know if that's the right word.
Usually I would say it's the music that I'm using, and then also the subject matter. So people like to hear about trademark stuff. That's, like I said, that's probably that topic gets me the most, like, views. And then I'm just talking about my journey will also get me views. But when it's just like me talking, like how we do Instagram stories, just talking into the camera, those get me no views. None. So I'm like, I guess I'll just keep pointing at things.
So for those that want to TikTok, but maybe don't know where to start, what type of content, whether video, music, whatever, what would you say they should go for on their first video?
I would say educational content. I think that we're in such an information era. People just want to learn. They want to know things. It's so sad. I feel like I've learned so much more from TikTok than I have, like, in school. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So I think that content does so well on TikTok, educational content, especially from kind of like we can't call ourselves experts, but people, we know what we're talking about. we're in a field where it's kind of like so nuanced and it's like there's this like not rite of passage, but there's this barrier that people seem to think that we have. So being able to provide our expertise on a subject matter, I think people eat it up.
Yeah, I agree. What do you find on that, conveying your subject matter expertise? Do you find the 60-second limit helpful or hurtful?
Helpful. I think it's helpful. I think 15 seconds hurtful. It's hard to get something in there. And because they just, I want to say it was maybe 4 or 5 months ago that they expanded it from 15 seconds to 60. But 60 seconds is enough time. It's that 15 seconds where you're just like, okay, this. But they have to replay it over and over again to like figure out what you're trying to get the point across.
I also think it's a good exercise for the lawyers, because the long-winded lawyers that think they need 30 minutes to explain a topic, a 60-second video forces you to drill down to the very specific point you want to make. And I also think it's important for a lot of lawyers in the traditional marketing, networking, educational seminars kind of approach to learning and educating people. I just totally babble on that, but you know what I mean. People that are in that space to say how people are consuming information now is very different than 10 years ago. And you really, their attention spans are lower. And especially I'm in the litigation field, you have to know that in your jury. When you're in front of a jury, you don't have 30 minutes to get their attention. You maybe have 10 seconds, 15. I even say like 3 or 6 sometimes. So having that skill set in your concept creation when you're creating content is to really drill down. And I love the fact that your videos, when you're, what do you call it? What are they called again? Listicles. I've never heard that term before. Is that a TikTok term or is that a Michelle term?
No, I got it from bloggers. Like bloggers say listicles for like blog articles.
I love that, listicles. But your listicles are very concise. Like you have one point that you're trying to make. And I think that's really, it's such a great thing to think about. So, any regrets about TikTok?
No. Yes. Not starting sooner. I should have been doing it last year, but I was just scared. I was scared of especially opening your own law firm, right? You think that you have to be a certain way. So you're scared that people aren't going to see you as professional and then they won't hire you. But had I started last year, who knows where I would have been this year. But it's, you live and you learn.
Have you found people who have responded to you to say what you're doing is unprofessional?
I had one man say it to me. And I was just like, well, go on to all the other doctors and dentists that are doing the same thing and go tell them that too. I mean, to me, it's so ridiculous. And I think that especially like with our Gen Z, obviously, and then the millennials they're consuming content. This is how they're consuming content. So I don't know how you expect people to kind of market. You got to go with the times.
So I love that, because you're going to have people that don't agree with what you're doing. But it's small. I mean, really, if you're going to focus on those people, you're never going to do anything.
Exactly.
Have you felt overwhelming support for what you're doing, or people saying like what you're doing is amazing?
Yeah.
What's that like?
And I think that's the majority, which is why I ignore the one person who has something different to say. I love it because that was my goal. My goal when I opened my law firm was, I don't want to be the suit lawyer. I don't want to be, that's just not me. That was never me. I know it's never going to be me. I'm just very relaxed and I like social media. I think it's a fun way to communicate with people. So I enjoy, and I enjoy like, because I wanted to be a professor. So the fact that I'm able to still teach, and it may not be in a college capacity, but I can still provide education to people that maybe would have never, because who's really gonna look, unless you're really looking for it, what is a trademark? Who's really looking that up? But if it pops up in your face, hey, this is interesting. Maybe I want to learn a little bit more about it. And so I'm able to provide that for people.
It's interesting that you say that, because I started my LinkedIn journey as far as using LinkedIn as a tool, right? I've always been on it, but just randomly, right. But starting as a tool, and I reached out to a LinkedIn coach to help me. And she was like, the reason that you love this and doing this is because you're drawn to teaching. And that's and I never even put those two together. If you have a love for creating content and educating and putting it out there and helping people, you're the same way. You're drawn to helping and teaching people.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common theme I've found through people that create content on social media.
Yes.
You have to enjoy it. You won't be able to sustain it if you don't enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can get overwhelming. And then there's just so many platforms out there now. You gotta, first of all, learn how to repurpose, because I am the repurpose queen. And TikTok videos, people eat it up on Instagram, because I can use it on Instagram and LinkedIn, and people love the videos. So it's just like, okay, well, I can use this content in my other spaces. I even used it on my email list this past week. I was able to just say, hey, I went viral. Here, look at this video, and not have to do extra work, because work smarter, not harder.
I love that. That is such a great tip. So you take your TikTok videos and you just run them across your other platforms. You don't change them.
Nope.
And they still play on those other platforms.
Yeah. And it's video, which social media loves video. So that makes it even better to use that, use that content.
I think there's a stigma to repurposing that, I can't put my finger on what it is, because I have I have another life coach too. And she was like, tell me about your thought process about refurbishing content. And I'm like, I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it. But there's that idea that somebody's gonna think, oh, I already saw that.
You're right.
I already saw that from her. What's she doing? What do you have any fears about that?
No, I used to.
Yeah.
I used to, but content that I posted in January of last year, people have not seen it this year. Like, I have so many more followers. I had maybe like 50 followers in January of last year on my Instagram, and now I have like 3,500 now. So there's 3,450 people that didn't see it, and maybe out of those 50 people, 30 of them didn't see it either. So you just never know who's opening your emails, who's looking at your stories. You can't control the algorithm, so you just don't know who's seeing everything.
And I think that's what some people, maybe they don't understand the algorithm. They think if they post something, everybody in their feed is going to see it, and that's just not the case. Right, exactly. And if you have like a year ago or 6 months ago, if you had something that did really well when you had 50 followers, it's probably going to do really well when you have 5,000 followers. You might as well just throw it up and test it out again. Mm-hmm. And then you're right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I think you're right. Less work means you sustain your activities more, and you stick with it, and you're consistent. Just kind of bring
and I just had my VA. I had her go through all my Instagram posts and put it in an Excel spreadsheet so I can repurpose all of it. Because now that I'm in business, I have more clients. That means I have to do more work in the business. I have to do my client work. I don't have as much time to try to think of concepts and create like I did January of last year. So just being able to have an Excel spreadsheet with all the content that I posted, and maybe even just tweak something, so it makes it a little different.
So you said you have a VA. Does your VA help you with your social media accounts?
No, it's more like admin tasks. So my emails, and then I just had her do that project because I was like, I need to repurpose all my old content. And so I wanted to see if maybe I can, make some of that into blog posts, YouTube videos. all that, you know how it goes.
I do. How did you find your VA? I'm just curious.
I went on to somebody in one of the lawyer groups on Facebook. She recommended Pineapple Staffing, so I just went with them.
Okay, that's interesting. I've gone on Upwork, and I've been successful and gotten some admins on that. So I think that's a lot of people don't realize that you can get people to help you on that side. So $1 million question: have you gotten business from TikTok?
I have.
Yay!
And it's always so funny because the people that come to me, they're kind of embarrassed that they found me on TikTok, because they'll be like, oh, I was on my niece's TikTok. Sure, Jan, you were on your niece's TikTok. You can admit you have one. It's okay. And so they'll be like, and you popped up, and I wanted to reach out to you because I was thinking about doing trademarks, and and then that's kind of where it goes from there. But usually it's like, I found you on TikTok through my daughter's TikTok page.
Sure. Have you seen your income go up from TikTok, or the number of leads go up as time goes on?
Yeah, definitely have seen the number of leads and just, more clients. Definitely. That's why I don't stop, because I'm like, well, if it's working, then that's the point of all of it.
I would love to have you back on in a year. I would love to just see what the difference is, because I imagine you're going to be huge. I mean, you're already big. So the fact you take a fast forward, I would love to see what your business looks like on that.
Yeah.
I love it. I know we're running low on time here. I love talking to you. I feel like I'm talking to a kindred spirit because I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a lot safer for lawyers, but even that, I don't think a lot of lawyers are using it the way that they could be using it, and being authentic, right?
Right.
Being real, not just going up and saying, here's a case to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, let me talk about your pain points or who you are, and the fact that you are talking about your journey, and I briefly saw this video that you did after George Floyd. There was a video that you did by what your mom said to you. Can you talk about that real brief, not brief, but talk about that?
Sure. So one thing that my mom asked me when I started my law firm, she was like, are you going to be the face of your law firm because you're a Black woman and people might not hire you because of it? And I said, yeah. I mean, I cannot genuinely run my firm and not be the face of it. I mean, maybe a bit, hopefully, the goal is to just not be in my law firm. I'm just kind of behind the scenes of things, but starting out, especially, I want to be able to take the credit for what I'm doing. And if somebody doesn't want to work with me because of the color of my skin, I definitely do not want to work with them. They've eliminated themselves already from my, the good fit part of my firm. So
that is also the good thing about social media. You do eliminate automatically the people you wouldn't fit with anyway.
Right.
But I love that. I thought that was a real video, right? That conversation that you had with your mom, the fact that you put that out there, I would imagine so many people related to that. So many women, maybe minority women, Black women, they related to that. I have never had that conversation with my mom. We don't have to have that conversation.
Right.
But the fact that you guys do, I found that I'm always struck by lawyers that are real and open and authentic about themselves on social media. So I was really struck by that. I wanted to note that. I thought that was really courageous.
And I will say one thing about LinkedIn, which to me, it was always very stuffy. So I was like, oh God, I don't want to be on this platform. But I will say people love TikTok videos. I'm surprised how receptive people are to them, because you would think that, or I would think that people would be like, this is so unprofessional. Why are you putting this on LinkedIn? But people really enjoy them, which it shocked me personally.
And I think there's probably still a segment that do think it's unprofessional. Lawyer Kelly, I think she posts daily on TikTok, and then she repurposes it to LinkedIn, and she's got a decent following on LinkedIn. So I think that's a great idea. I'm posting my first one tomorrow. It's really bad. But I did your listology. What's it called again? Listicles?
Listicle.
I did a listicle. I was on the beach last weekend and I'm just going to try it. And my 7-year-old daughter walks up and she's like, I want to do a TikTok video. I'm like, you are not doing a TikTok video. But I'm going to post one tomorrow because I want to just to see, I just like to experiment. But
yeah, I think it's a cool to me, it's a fun, cool platform. I mean, even if it dies down, I still get them going to my Instagram, so I still get those followers, because I've definitely seen a trend of my TikTok going up and then my Instagram also going up at the same time. So,
do you track your analytics on all your platforms? What do you use to track them?
I just use the in-app platform or in-app analytics.
Okay, that's fascinating. I love it because it's important, and it doesn't take a lot of time to track analytics, but to know what works and doesn't, so you can hone in on your content in the future, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, and I will say, with Instagram, even though we're not really talking about Instagram, I would say I started getting more engagement once I started being more vulnerable, like talking about my journey and just me, and then also making more engaging content. So like not everything has to be about the law. I'll just ask I'll tell random facts about myself. One Instagram posted really well because I was like, I can eat dessert all day. I can have a milkshake for breakfast, peach rings for lunch, and a cupcake for dinner. And people it did really well, and I think it got like 100 comments. Like it was just like, this is what I don't understand.
It's so true. You have to test, but I think fun, entertaining content has value in and of itself. Being able to deliver a smile to somebody,
right,
or to have them bring out a memory, or I think that has value. It doesn't always have to be, let me tell you about the law right now.
Exactly.
So I love the fact that you did it. Did you do that because you can eat all that and not gain weight? Is that what that is? Are you one of those people?
I'm a sweet tooth. Like I can eat sweets all day. Like I would, if I didn't have to eat a vegetable ever again in life, I wouldn't. But.
I'm with you. I definitely have a sweet tooth too. So, but I can't. Oh my God, I can't. Well, I love it. I love talking to you. We do have to wrap this up. Before we do, just 2 or 3, maybe 3 more questions.
Okay.
Moving forward, what would say is your top 2 social platforms that you would continue to put in the bulk of your energy?
Definitely TikTok and Instagram. 100%. Those 2 platforms. They're the ones that I enjoy the most. I think that you should also be on the platforms that you enjoy the most. So.
Yeah. Again, it goes to, because you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy it, you're going to maybe push yourself through for a couple months and then you'll back off. And
yeah.
This is a stupid question, but where can people find you? Give me every place that people can find you.
So I'm on Instagram, the trademark attorney _ I'm on TikTok, which is just the trademark attorney. And then I am on Facebook, facebook.com/Wilson Murphy Law. And I'm on LinkedIn. I don't remember my LinkedIn name because I just, automatically log in, but you should be able to find me with Michelle Wilson Murphy.
I did. You can Google, you can just type in your name and it'll come up. That's awesome. And I looked at your website the other day and aesthetically it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I was like, website.
Can you tell who I'm trying to target?
Yes. Your branding is spot on. Like you've really taken the time to look at your branding. So, well, guys, I really appreciate it. Michelle, super thanks for coming on. If you guys have not had a chance, make sure you get on TikTok, get your account and start following Michelle. Her videos are very inspiring. I love to watch them. So make sure you do that. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button, give us a rating, a review. Super appreciate the support. And make sure you join us next time on The Defense Never Rests. We will see you then.